Lolita, light of my life, fire of my loins, my sin, my soul, Lolita. Welcome to Whiskey and Literature. I'm your host, Captain Mike, and I'm reading and reviewing 52 books in 52 weeks in 2023. This is my 39th book review of the year so far, Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. And before we talk about the book, let's talk about Mr. Nabokov. I do want to say before I begin the review that this is a book about sexual abuse of a minor. If that's something that is triggering for you, or you don't want to hear or read about it, then now's the time to click away. Neither in this review nor in the book is it explicit, but it is in there and we are going to discuss it. Vladimir Nabokov, he was a Russian author, novelist, and translator. Born in 1899, he died in 1977. He wrote 9 novels in Russian before becoming an American citizen in 1945. He gained prominence after publishing Lolita, which just proves that controversy sells. Okay, on to the specs and stats of Lolita. This was first published in 1955 and it was written in English. My copy is 309 pages long. I did listen to this on Audible, where it is narrated by Jeremy Irons, who plays the main character in the 1997 movie. There was, of course, controversy surrounding this book when it first came out due to the subject matter, and it was banned in the UK and France. Okay, style of Lolita. This is a novel. That's the genre. Sometimes it's referred to as an erotic novel, and sometimes as a tongue-in-cheek erotic novel, and I'm not sure that that fits, but some people seem to think so. This is written in memoir style, so narrated by the protagonist, and as such, all types of novels, he is considered an unreliable narrator. Okay, brief mention about the only two characters of the book that really matter. First is Humbert. He's a 40-year-old sexually stunted man. And then we have Dolores, or Lolita, who is the 12-year-old love interest of Humbert. Okay, let's briefly describe or go through the plot of the book quickly, and then we'll share my thoughts. So we have a young Humbert, and he falls in love with a neighbor girl, Annabelle. So they are about to consummate their love, and they're on the beach, and again, it's not explicit, but apparently he's on his knees, and 2 older guys come out of the surf, and they see these 2 young lovers about to go at it, and so they start cheering them on, and of course they are not going to perform now, so they run away embarrassed, never consummate their love. Annabelle leaves, she moves away and dies 3 months later of typhus, leaving Humbert frustrated and with unfulfilled love. Later he immigrates to America, where he meets and marries Charlotte Hayes. And he marries her because she has a 12-year-old daughter, Dolores. She is a nymphette. Charlotte dies shortly thereafter, and Humbert and Dolores go on a 1-year spree driving around the entire United States, where Humbert begins bribing Lolita for sexual favors. They settle in a New England town until Lolita tells Humbert that she wants to leave. So they begin driving around again. Humbert feels like they're being followed. Lolita gets sick, checks into the hospital. Humbert goes to the hotel, and Lolita's uncle checks her out of the hospital. Turns out another pedophile, Quilty, is the one who checked her out of the hospital. And Lolita stayed with him until she refused to star in one of his pornos, and then she left. And she finds herself a husband and stays estranged from Humbert until she and her husband need money so they can go to Alaska, and so she writes for Humbert. Humbert, of course, drives, meets with Lolita and her husband, gives them money, goes away, and shoots Quilty. Okay, that's just a super brief synopsis of the plot. There's a lot more involved, and let's just go through my thoughts of Lolita. First of all, I am very conflicted on this book. On one hand, it is very well written. It was a pleasure to read. On the other hand, occasionally the subject matter percolated to the top, and I was like, oh my heavens, I'm reading a book about a guy molesting his underage stepdaughter. Lolita, the character, is written in such a way that you almost can excuse Humbert and his actions. She overtly flirted with him. She sat in his lap and wiggled about. She seduced or initiated their first intimate contact. Both times, first when Humbert had to clean himself up in his bathrobe, and the second time that first night they spent at the hotel. And believe me when I say that I understand that that doesn't really matter in the least. I also understand that this is fictional. Every molester has justification for his acts, at least to himself. And Humbert's justification comes on page 166 of my book, and I'll go ahead and read this to you. And this sentence here, this couple sentences, is representative of the entire book as far as the style of the writing. Page 166, chapter 3 of, I think it's the second part of the book. The able psychiatrist who studies my case, and whom by now Dr. Humbert has plunged, I trust, into a state of leporine fascination, is no doubt anxious to have me take my Lolita to the seaside and have me find there, at last, the gratification of a lifetime urge and release from the subconscious obsession of an incomplete childhood romance with the initial Little Miss Lee. So that is Humbert's excuse for his actions, why he is infatuated by young girls, who he refers to as nymphets. It's like a nymph, but it's a little nymph, so nymphette. Like his fascination, and there is a medical term for this, and forgive me, I don't know what that is offhand. I'll put it in the on the screen here. But his age range, and this is foul and disgusting, I understand that, is 9 to 12-year-olds. And so that is because that is the age that he and Annabelle Lee were when they didn't consummate their love, and he has been stunted ever since then. And we as rational people would not excuse that, of course. And it's a book, it's fiction, and it's not correct, of course, but it is what it is. And all that aside, the book is very well written. It's some beautiful prose, told from Humbert's point of view, so we see everyone and everything colored through his eyes. Lolita is effectively silenced. We don't know what her thoughts are. In fact, calling Dolores Lolita effectively replaced her identity with one that he gave her. I don't really think this book is erotic. It's certainly not explicit. I would refer to it maybe more as sensual or in some parts titillating. In fact, I do have one gripe with this book, and that is Quilty. He is such a minor character in the beginning of the book that when it turns out that he was the one who was following them and who checked out Lolita from the hospital, I had to go back to the beginning of the book and search through until I figured out exactly who it is. Nothing frustrates me more until we have like a whodunit that's revealed to be someone who we've never even heard of from the book. And I kind of felt like that was the way that Quilty was, because he was such a minor character earlier in the story. I think had I been paying more attention perhaps, or just more aware, I would have figured that out sooner, but I really had no idea who they were talking about and who was following them. So it was a surprise to me, and I did have to go back and look through it. Once I did put those two pieces together, it was fine, and it was all really well done. Overall, I did really enjoy this read. If you're down for something mature and something a little different, go ahead and give it a go. And guys, that's it for my review. It's due to the star rating here, and I judge all my books on 5 criteria. And let's go. Initial response: how do I feel as soon as I finish the book? And I gave it a 4. Recommendation: how likely am I to recommend this book? 3. Style: did I enjoy the writing style? Got a 4. Plot structure: how engaged was I in the story? 5. Characters: were they relatable, believable, engaging? Also a 5. And that's 21. And 21 divided by 5 is 4.2. So 4.2 stars for Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. All right, my guys, if you enjoyed the video, like it, it's free. Subscribe to see more of my content. I do both book and whiskey reviews. If I'm reading 52 books in 52 weeks this year, and all my reviews that I've done so far, those links are in the description below. Feel free to check those out. I will add them as I continue. I have, I believe, 8 more reviews to do to complete my challenge for this year. For now, my friends, you know what to do. I hope you're reading something great and drinking something great. Turn the pages, my friends, and stay thirsty. Cheers.